Mad Honey, you got Fat Saturn,
and Mysterious Teriyaki. That's the band I play bass in.
Right.
That's like a punk rock, garage rock kind of band.
3 for 3 great names.
Yeah.
What's the number of followers before you have to change your name? Because there's already another band with that name. Like if they have 100 followers, fuck it, we can beat that, right?
That's a good question. I like the soundtrack to Twister.
Oh, yeah, Van Halen. Shine on.
Now you're living in a storage unit?
Now I'm just moving around. Yeah, I'm totally... As Steven said, you're living here? I'm like, no, but I work late. The problem is I emailed the landlord from my BandHouse podcast at gmail.com, so now she can just look up and watch the podcast. Because I was going to lie if she asked what the podcast was. I was going to say, like, something your mom's house podcast or, like, something Joe Rogan experience.
Shit Kicker podcast.
Yeah, the Taylor Arden experience. But then I botched that when I emailed her from the thing. So.
Oh, man, rip. Yeah. Did these all work, too?
No, but most of them.
Cool.
That one we need to replace.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
I have it, but I haven't put it in. This one doesn't work. This one I'm not sure, and the rest of them work.
Super cool, man.
Yeah, this one works. I like this one the most. It's so clean.
Oh, the Roland.
So big and so clean.
That's funny. I saw a picture actually today of somebody miking one of those with an SM7B, and I was like, those amps are kind of nice.
Yeah, I like them. They're just, to me, big. They just sound so big.
Yeah.
Probably because they're heavy and it's in my head.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to start this thing off with the video of you playing Moby Dick.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
the most perfect I've heard anyone play Moby Dick.
Yeah, so that was like twice a year I gig with this band called Presence, which is a Led Zeppelin cover band.
Oh, tight.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
And the whole thing kind of started as like a COVID project. Like, hey, like one of my jam buddies was like, dude, we got to play some Zeppelin. I'm like, yeah. So we got together, playing Zeppelin. And then before we know it, we found a singer, one of his old friends who they used to play in a Yes cover band. These guys are older.
Oh,
right?
wow, yeah.
So they were in like a Yes tribute band, and they knew Alan White and stuff from Yes and everything. It was kind of crazy. But
got his signature one time. Don't know where it went, but met him.
Oh wow, crazy!
Met him.
And he just passed away, which sucks.
I know,
I never got a chance to meet him, but also I'm not that big of. I'm more of a Bruford Yes fan.
Oh
I like the Yes album and Fragile a lot, but anyway, tangent.
Sure.
So we started jamming and we should play some Zeppelin. So eventually we got some gigs. COVID ended and gigs happened. We got a few of them. So this was at Substation. We actually had another band called Super Naughty opening for us, a Black Sabbath cover band. They're really freaking good.
Oh, what a night,
if you see them playing, dude. It was
the two greatest metal bands of all time. Or
yeah, right. It was like so yeah. But my guitar player is like, "You're gonna play Moby Dick," and I'm like, I think he mentioned it before. But I've never taken like a solo outside of a context, like an established context of a song. Like I'll go to Mojam a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll be grooving. You're like, all right, yo, drummer, take a solo. And you're like, okay, and the song's going, so you're kind of grooving along where the beat's already been established, right? And I'm not the kind of drummer to like stop the song and do weird shit and go back.
Oh, change the tempo.
Can I swear on this podcast?
Sure, absolutely.
Shit,
yeah.
Yeah. So
shit, yes.
So, but this was, Moby Dick's like an open-ended thing. It's like
it's a drum only.
Yeah, you have that. You have the intro,
solo.
right? You have the intro and you have the outro, the little bookend thing, and then it's just like the rest is just go crazy, do whatever's right. So I didn't rehearse. I'm just like I've heard the song. I know how Bonham plays it. Bonham was a big influence of mine growing up.
And you played the whole song like with the beginning and everything.
Yeah,
with the guitars and the drum and the fills. Da, da.
Yeah, and the full video's on YouTube. I can link that to you later if you want. If you want to clip a different part of it.
I want to cut to all the parts as we're talking about it.
Yeah. So, but that was, and somebody happened to be filming the show, which is great, And I have a live stream version from my perspective, which doesn't sound as good. So that video is the one to use. But it's, dude. I just played. I played in my mind what Bonham played on the record, and what I've heard live. I started with something kind of low, and then just. Obviously, I brought it up, got into the triplets, and I was kind of also reacting to what the crowd was doing because
nice.
It's like I've never
done
this before, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm listening to, the crowd likes when I do this sort of thing, so that was keep doing that, type deal. And I actually learned in doing that I really need to practice like things to pull out of my back pocket for these solos because the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking, man, I'm repeating myself like crazy. Listening back, it doesn't sound that way, but in my head, I'm like, I think I just did this groove.
Totally.
Did I just do this?
I played a gig the other day where there was 4 guitar players, so I didn't need to do any heavy lifting. Even still, I felt like I played too much maybe, or my solos weren't as cool as they needed to be, but I was also proud that I laid back and didn't step on anybody's toes.
Yeah, that's a real skill, man. Laying back, it's hard, but it's like
so hard because then you either do. Like, most people can either play nothing or play over the singer. Mm-hmm. It's hard to do lead behind the singer. Like, turn your volume down, essentially, is the key. But, like,
Yeah.
but something to where, like, a lot of country music will do it, where there's, like, a guitar solo going while the guy's singing, or a fiddle solo in the back, but not, like, taking away from it anyway.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with that, because you don't want, if the focal point of the song is the singer, you don't want this guy's guitar guy over there just
wailing.
spreading his seed all over everybody else, right?
Spreading his seed. That's what we do, dude, guitar players.
That's right, man. That's what you guys do.
Do you play guitar at all?
I do, actually.
Oh, so you spread it a little bit.
A little bit, here and there. I'm more of a, I guess I consider bass to be my second instrument. Drums are first by far, then bass is like my second thing.
Makes sense.
Guitar's third, and really a lot of it's because I just don't practice enough. Like I like it, I mostly play chords and heavy stuff, but I whenever I'm like in front of people, I'm like, ugh, don't listen to me play. I sound like shit. You know?
For sure. There's so many different strings you have to think about the intonation. Like,
well, that was when
pushing too hard or not hard enough.
When I was a kid, that was what initially turned me off from guitar. Was I had a little toy guitar and I'd play and I would just strum it. I actually have recordings of me doing that, like 11.
Nice. Cut to that.
Yeah, if I can find them, I'll send it to you. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. That was I was like, man, what do I do with all these freaking strings? Like, what the hell is this? And drums, you just hit these. Those are easy. Yeah. Then I started playing bass, and I was like, okay, I guess I only need to play one string at a time. And then I got understood the fretboard. Then I'm like, oh, guitar ain't so hard, I guess. You just have, it's the same as bass, 2 extra strings. The chords are kind of weird, and I still feel like my fingers are too fat. Even though I don't have fat fingers, but they feel to me like I'm so used to having that extra space on the bass to like kind of approximate where the note is, and you're probably right because you have all the fret space.
Yeah.
And guitar, it's like, oh man, I got to be really precise, and I don't think my fine motor skills are that good.
Right.
But that's where practice comes in, right?
Yeah. The playing up high is a nightmare in itself. It's like people who can do that, it's not the same as down here. It's a totally different ballgame.
And I love like noisy guitar players like Larry Lalonde from Primus or like Paige Hamilton, like those guys who can play those really just nasty, like screamy, gritty, like almost like atonal solos,
like Kim Thale, Soundgarden.
Yeah,
he's pretty gnarly. He's pretty atonal.
Yeah, but there's even that sounds good. You can just sit there and just like rip on the strings, but you can't because you can do that, and it has a certain way. But then that only goes so far, right?
Right.
And so it's like there's still a nuance to being able to play that kind of dirty, and knowing like what kind of dissonant shapes to make that nasty sound, and like even like Steve Albini, like I like Shellac and Big Black and stuff like that. I'm kind of a hardcore punk kind of guy sometimes.
Tight.
And even his guitar playing is like, it's very primitive, but there's some art within there, some complexity within his like primitiveness of playing, if that makes sense.
I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
I love the sculpted, like, I guess it's punk ideology is like you don't really need to be good, but the song is good somehow.
Yeah, and I think
Such
what it
a
is,
neat
it's like the emotion. I think of it too. It's the emotion and I guess the vibe, as everybody says now, right?
Yeah, vibe. The vibe. We vibing in here, dude. Yeah,
but
totally. Yeah, I feel that. So what happened with the birds?
Oh, man. Yeah, last time I was on here was with Bad with Birds,
Essentially, yeah, this is the scoop.
So, yeah, I mean, we just kind of had a falling out, I guess. I mean, the band was going good, I think we were writing new songs. But
good songs. The songs sounded good.
And there was, and I always love playing the songs. I got to get my big energy out, just be really like, just like give it my all, but also try to like craft my space within this I don't want to say cacophony, but I like to think of songs like a structured
space,
structured cacophony.
Absolutely,
it's like, yeah. So it was, but I think it was just kind of creative differences and personality differences, and there was just it was hard when we got to actually writing, because when I joined the band, all the songs were already kind of written, because they had another drummer, and I just kind of played his parts. But obviously, you don't want to just play somebody else's parts, right? You want to have it in writing everything, right? So when we came to start writing, it just got kind of hard, and I think we were all kind of busy, and some people couldn't really commit, me included, to like really sitting down to like writing stuff and figuring stuff out. We'd all kind of hoped it would just kind of happen at practice, and sometimes it did.
Sure.
But I think there was just another level of effort that we had to put in that we weren't able to do, and when we did, the results weren't like we would just disagree upon things.
I totally relate to that, dude. Even with like a band of 2 or 3 people I've had in the past, it's like that's hard enough, let alone 5 people.
Yeah, and then this band too, there were 2 brothers, and I think this fact that they're brothers just made it hard, because brothers have a different relationship than friends do, right? So it's just a little more interpersonal, right? A little more like we basically decided hey, maybe we should lay this bird to rest.
Yeah, no bad. I was gonna throw a bird pun in. I'll do it anyway. No bad bird blood.
No bad bird blood.
That's good. No wars. No one's. That's good.
Me and Vaughn are still. Well, we're already in another band together, Fat Saturn. That's still going. And then we're in a band called Bad Honey. So
you're in that band too.
Yep, yeah.
Because he texted me immediately after Bad Bird, just for short, broke up, and saying he wanted to come on with Bad Honey.
Yeah, and I hear that's happening like next week or something, isn't it?
That's something. It's
like
on the books.
So
dude. Yeah.
So look out for that. And I won't be here for that. I think he's going to bring Matthew, who's kind of the face of the band.
Tight.
But so it was kind of funny how, and that thing was already kind of queuing up. Like it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna like quit Bad with Birds and go join Bad Honey. It was kind of like, oh, hey, we need a drummer for Bad Honey. You want to play? And I'm like, let me hear the song.
So they were already established.
Yeah, and like so Matthew, so on to Bad Honey. Matthew kind of started Bad Honey a few years ago. He had a different lineup, 2 different people, just him and a drummer and a bass player. They actually also all the music. If you look them up on Spotify, all the recordings are that trio.
Tight.
And then COVID happened. I think the drummer moved away, and then the bass player moved away or something. And so Matthew was like, "Oh, I guess I'm done playing music." And then eventually he kind of wanted to get back into it. And he knew Vaughn, and Vaughn's like, "Oh yeah, man, we can find some folks." He met this guy Jojo, who plays bass, great bass player, great like melody writer. He's really good at like just coming up with melodies and like knowing like how to counterpoint. Like as a drummer too, I hear this. If you're in the groove and the bass player all of a sudden goes to the octave, you're like, "Oh, I think we're going to end this section now." Things he does things like that really well.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like even if you're a teacher, you can't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
Like most of my musician career, I've been a teacher, so I've been able to gush a little bit here and there on my lessons and just like go off. But if I don't talk about it enough, I don't even have words for it. I'm like, oh, he did the thing where we know. Like for example, the one I think of is
yeah, right.
Like something like that means obvious change is coming.
It's
the end of the song or section or something.
Yeah, it's such a hugely important thing as a musician to be able to communicate to your other fellow musicians what's going to happen, what's happening.
And sometimes
it
could just be that person's feel too. Like I always wonder if it's like, oh, we both listened to Metallica growing up, so we have the same ideas, or if it's nature versus nurture, or we've been in a band for 10 years and I know that when you do a weird Tourette's blink or whatever that you're going to probably end the song.
Start tweaking behind the drums.
Or maybe that was a shitty example, but whatever.
We're going to the chorus.
Yeah. When I hear a weird bump in the backbeat, I know something's coming.
Yeah, right.
Or like you said, bass. If you can signal with the bass, you're real.
Well, that's sort of, I mean, I have a million things I want to talk about, but that's one thing that at least in my bass playing, because I do play in a band on bass. I'll get to that later.
Sure.
That's something that I've been trying to get better at as a bass player. And I've been going to jams and trying to play bass and like take I guess more of a what's the word? I don't want to say I guess like a leadership role in the band, not just hanging back and playing the groove, but also like, hey guys, like we've been on this 3-chord thing for a while. I got another idea. Let's go to this thing, and like how to like inform the band. And it's hard. It's also hard because you got to kind of be assertive a little bit, and you have to be sure of what you're gonna do. Right? You can't. You have to commit. You can't just like say, oh, we're gonna do this. Oh no.
Right.
Because then it doesn't sound good. Right?
Okay, so. Speaking to you as a stringed player, as a bass player, bass mind, how many drummers do you play with that don't end the song? Or like, how do I want to say this? They don't end it in time. They go 10 bars too far.
Oh,
or at least.
That's happened a couple times. I only play bass with a handful of people, and most of the times we all kind of understand the musicality aspect enough to where we can do it. But I've seen it happen though. I've seen it happen before where I can tell the band wants to be done, and the drummer's just like.
I say it because one guy in particular never ever in my memory ended the song.
Yeah.
And but we jammed.
We gotta start doing this thing.
I know, and his eyes are closed, and he's somewhere else, and I'm like, "Hi!"
Like drummer.
You would have to stop playing, but you want that flow, and we'd play 11-minute songs, but like, let's do a 3-minute jam and move on. That would practice our endings, practice our musicians.
Unless you're the Grateful Dead, you can't have every song be 11 minutes.
Yeah. They covered that, dude. But no, I played, and even on top of that, guys, just a lot of guys that'll just keep playing. If we're jamming, I get it, but even for fun, maybe this is where I'm too competitive because this is totally a sports guy, not being able to just chill and play ping pong, but like take it too seriously. I want the song to sound refined and fresh.
Oh, totally.
Even if it's a jam, I want people to think, if we're live, especially if we're live, I want people to think that was rehearsed. I don't like to say this is our first time together anymore,
right? Or
together, because I just want them to assume it's good.
I think people dig it too. I think the crowd really digs it when they like the band will do something and it was completely organic, but everybody's on the same page, right? And almost like if they know it's a jam. Like I've had this with Fat Saturn before, where we're a cover band, so we play classic rock covers, blues songs. We play some modern stuff like Black Keys and White Stripes and Foo Fighters occasionally. But like, we have these songs and sometimes we'll have like a blues song and there's a big middle section and Vaughn's taking the solo. And we're like, you know what? There's people dancing. Let's just keep this going for a long time, And sometimes, the direction will change. Maybe I'll bring it down, or the bass will bring it down, or something will happen. And now we're in like this no man's land, or not no man's land, but we're in this like uncharted territory. It's like, okay, where can this go now?
Yeah.
And the crowd is almost like, can they do it? You know, like,
are they going to take it home? Are they bringing it home?
Right, and I think when you pull that off, people really are like, yeah, these guys are good.
Right,
you know?
right.
I've noticed that just playing that tends to be the reaction.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's something that's hard. You talk a lot about like crowd reaction, and like when you were talking about the drum solo, do more of the things that people. I get lost because like Guitar Land, I know what guitar players think is cool, but I've forgotten what is like entertaining.
You know, it's funny
and not showing off, but just actually something that the crowd likes.
Yeah, because as a kid, I still hate show-offs.
Sure.
I don't do the stick twirl. I mean, I see why people do. I'm like, oh, you know, okay, maybe it is kind of, I guess, like doing that can increase engagement.
Yeah.
But I don't like the whole like look at me attitude. It's just like
for sure.
And so even like
I like the listen to me attitude.
Right.
How can I showboat with my note choice?
Yeah, right. There you go. How can I blow people's minds with this snare drum hit?
At least one guy in the back's gonna be like, dude, that was a great chord transition.
Yeah, right. Yeah, one guy back there like you know, sizing you up with your guitar playing. But no, it's there is value to it though, right? So like at least knowing what a crowd likes, and even this is like with my solo, like, this is always like discovering this like on the fly, then like listening back, like okay, this is something I should do more of, right?
Yeah.
But it's powerful because it makes the experience for the listener, I think, just more valuable and better, right? And so like you don't want to be completely tone deaf to that stuff or completely like a curmudgeon, like, oh no, I can't do that. That's what.
Yeah.
Who am I, Axl Rose or something? It's like,
sure.
Well, he's Axl Rose and you're not, so there's kind of a reason. Even though I'm not a big fan of Axl Rose. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
but you know, there's sometimes.
But he popped into your mind. So
yeah. See, there you go.
He found his way.
You don't get Joe Schmo popping.
I have a Guns N' Roses poster, so.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So that means I'm a fan.
92. Oh yeah, I was like right at their. Kind of in there.
I love that poster, but it's white, and I don't like the white on white, meaning my skin on the white wall behind me. So I try to use the dark backgrounds.
I was actually framing posters yesterday. I went to see King Gizzard at Remlinger Farms when they were here like 4 months ago, and I bought a poster for like too much money. But I was like, this is a cool poster. I got to get this, and I had it rolled up for like ever. And I'm like, I forgot I had this poster, man. I got to get a frame. And then I got a frame and hung it yesterday. So it's
sick. Yeah. How big is it?
It's 24 by 18, I think. 18 by 24. So it's nice big fat one. Yeah.
Tell people who don't know King Gizzard. How would you describe? Because I've only heard one song and it was so much that I was like, what is it?
Oh my god, they're like everything. They hit like every genre.
They're what their name sounds like too. Just like,
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. If you never heard of them, look them up.
That's right. I knew there was a
Lizard Wizard.
Yeah.
So they kind of hit a lot of genres. I would say at least my initial listening of them was like psychedelic rock. It was like this like neo psychedelic like new modern, and they're from New Zealand. So they got that New Zealand accent thing going on here.
Nice.
But they bring that whole thing. But they have like a blues record at the beginning. Then they had this whole psych thing, and then they even have like an album. Probably one of my favorites is called Infest the Rat's Nest, and it's like a thrash metal album.
Sick.
And they got two drummers, and it sounds like Metallica meets Slayer. It's freaking awesome.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And it's
It's like two drummers. Hell yeah,
dude. And actually after that album, the other drummer left to become the manager. So now they have one drummer. But
to be the band's manager.
Yeah, and so
that's hilarious.
Yeah, right. But
we need a manager, and we don't need another drummer.
I think he runs a label. They're a label. They were on an indie label. I think they still are, but now it's growing. But I think he runs a label too. But yeah, so they're like, I would say at the surface they're like psychedelic.
Yeah,
kind of rock stuff, rock, punk, metal, whatever. But like they've done like a microtonal album where they play all this.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, and
it was wild.
I hadn't listened to that really.
I loved it. I mean, it was easy to keep listening to. It was like, I don't want to turn it off. It's mesmerizing.
Yeah.
If you don't know what microtonal is, there's like I don't have my keyboard, but there's notes. Da 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 da. Beautiful. We've all heard it. All those notes. Microtone goes so far in between those, I can't even open up that can of worms. But if you listen to it, it just sounds like it's out of tune until you get really used to it.
It's like you got to reprogram your mind into a different tuning setting.
It sounds good in lo-fi music since the beat's already essentially micro rhythmic.
Yeah, and a lot of guys will do that by like slowing down the tape ever so slightly, right? And so
that's old school.
Yeah,
dude.
that's like the old way. Like even like the Doors' first record, if you try to play along to it,
it's up.
It's up because they
a lot of people did that to get energy, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that they screwed up the mastering process, and something was mastered slower than the tempo or faster than the actual speed. So when they actually had the master disc, it was like up tempo. But it could be that I know I've heard of radio stations and back in the day they'd push their turntable turntables a little past 33 and a third to get the beat to be up a little higher.
And to fit in extra songs and make more money, dude.
Yeah, there you go. Capitalism.
Capitalism, baby. But I saw another Adam Neely video. He's the one that got me into the microtonal and the Lizard Wizards and everybody. But another thing he did was... Train of thought. Come back to me. He did a chugga chugga. He's like, how many chugga chuggas in the choo choo is another Adam Neely video. Chugga 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 chugga.
I've seen that one.
It's 16, right? Chugga 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 choo choo.
Yep.
That's the correct one. You can quote me on it. I don't remember where I was going, but I love Adam Neely's videos.
Yeah.
All that microtonal stuff. Guitar. Oh, there's a Janet Jackson song that crashes old school hard drives, like certain hard drives from MacBooks.
Whoa.
Because of a frequency issue in the bass where they jammed it up a little bit in between E and F, or E flat and E, I think, rather. And I don't remember the song. I'll post it when I'm editing so you guys can hear it. And it won't crash your laptop unless you have a 2004 MacBook or some shit.
Man, I got to look into that. That's crazy.
I'll put the video up. It was one of the coolest videos ever because I was like, has to be clickbait because it said laptop or baseline so sick it crashes your computer.
Yeah,
and
right.
it is sick too. So so that checks out. It's a sick baseline. It's
Damn.
it's up a little tiny bit, and a certain frequency hits a certain thing in a computer and causes
or
the
like
computer to
vibrate the
shut
head
down.
thing or something, and like.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a kind of a computer nerd, so I'm now I'm like, I gotta.
Yeah, and by the end of the song, it vibrates and causes you to leave your family.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Fucked up. Careful when
man.
listening.
Yeah, dude. But if there's anything I want to say about King Gizzard, it's that their musical output is insane. Like so I got tickets to see them in January 2020. And then we all know what happened in 2020, right? So I'm like, well, fuck, when am I going to see them? It was also on 4/20, 2020.
Nice.
It's supposed to be. So then they ended up rescheduling the show a couple times, and I wanted to say that album I mentioned, Infest the Rat's Nest, had just come out. I'm like, I really want to see this like thrash metal thing, right? And then it gets rescheduled to 2022. I think is when I saw them again. Yeah, 2022, and I saw them again this year. But I'm like, oh, I should see how many albums have they put out since? 6. They put out six albums. Maybe it was 5, but still 5 or 6. That's that's way more than like normal people, musicians.
How many did they put out before COVID? What was their
like a lot? They do like 4 a year. Like
it didn't even change anything.
They average like 3.5, 4 albums a year, which is crazy. And it's like 5 dudes. I'm like, how do you guys remember all their songs? And their shows are like 3 hours, and they play all a variety. And I was like, they're not going to play any songs. I haven't heard any of these new ones. I'm not going to know anything here. And whatever. I still like to go for the fun, right? But they ended up playing like 6 out of like the 10 tracks.
So you saw them twice. And so how much were the shows differing?
Well, the first show I saw at the Paramount, I was supposed to be at the Crocodile. I think it was Crocodile, but then it got moved to Paramount because I guess they just capacity filled up. Yeah. So they moved there. That was cool. I was on the floor. I sort of stayed back. I didn't want to be too much in the pit, and it was good. It was good energy. Cool, crazy song. Just like you could just kind of lose yourself in the show, which is great. The next show I saw, I was at Remlinger Farms. My friend I was actually going to go to this. My friend's like, hey, I got a ticket and I can't go. You want my ticket? And I'm like, am I free Sunday? I'm free. Yeah, let's do it.
That's always cool.
I know, right? So I'm like, I'm just going to go there. I went like alone. I just wore this jacket and it was raining. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get totally like soaked in this thing. And
it's going to be a night.
Sure enough, ponchos. I'm like, yeah, free poncho.
Tight. Good. That's actually a lifesaver. But
it was cool because it reminded me of like Woodstock '94. If you know how it like rained at Woodstock '94, it was outdoors. It was just the one stage, but there was mud and there were people standing in ponchos. And eventually, when they people were moshing like crazy. Like when they started, the first band played, they were kind of meh, in my opinion. I forget the name. It's probably best I don't know the name. Yeah. And then when King Gizzard started,
they sucked. Shout out. The band's name is.
They sucked. That's the band name.
Yeah.
But the crowd pushed forward, and then like the moshing started, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. But also, I don't think I want to mosh in the rain. I'm gonna back out of here. Normally I love moshing, but I was like, nah, I'm kind of in like more of a chill mode right now.
For sure.
But but I just remember it was like Woodstock '94 because of how rainy it was. But also, it was like the clearest concert I've ever been to. Like something with the sound in this like outdoor stage. Wow. Like they perfected like just the sonics because it was the most clear and crisp. Like there's a point where I forgot I had my ear. I was like, this is pretty loud. I should put my earplugs in, and I'm checking. Where are my earplugs? And they're in my friggin' ears already.
Oh wow.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Everything's good to go, huh?
Yeah, okay. He's gonna push me a little further, I guess.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was like that was how clear it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. Love that band.
Dude, so another King Gizzard, the opening band, Gizzard band. Maybe I didn't have a question. Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. It's just a normal awkward silence.
Yeah, sometimes we need to just sit there.
I told Steven to show up. He never texts me back, but sometimes he shows up.
Okay.
I don't know where my phone is. Oh, it's right here, yeah.
Crashes the party.
He'll crash a few of them, but I don't even have his mic set up, so I wouldn't count on it. something in my heart knows he's gonna bail. I know the guy pretty well. I've known him since he was born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we go way back.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, what's on the horizon? You got Bad Honey, you got Fat Saturn, and what's the long-term plan?
Well, let's see. Well, I will mention I'm in another band called Mysterious Teriyaki. That's the band I play bass in.
Right.
That's like a punk rock, garage rock kind of band.
Another 3 for 3 great names.
Yeah, right. Dude, that name is, oh my
Mysterious.
God. My friend Spencer came up with that name, and like he said in high school before I met him, and he's like, when we started about last year around this time, September. I met him at a jam. We would he plays drums and guitar, really freaking crazy, amazing guitar player,
Sick.
like Eddie Van Halen
Sick.
style and like level of
expert.
Yeah, ability. It's crazy.
Expert level.
It's crazy. And so, but he plays drums too a little bit, and so we're like, and I went to a jam, and he was there, and he's like, he pulls out this Bumblebee guitar, and I'm thinking, okay, this guy's either really good or he thinks he's really good, right? And he gets up there and shreds, I'm like, he's really good. Then he gets on drums, and I'm like, okay.
He starts spinning the sticks, and you're like, oh, this guy better.
He wasn't doing that, but he was hitting them like they owed him money, you know? Like,
that's what I was going to say.
And I'm like, that's how I play. Yes, I like this guy. You know, so
does King Gizzard spin the sticks? That's what I was going to ask.
I don't even know. Maybe.
Anyway.
Their drummer is really... He doesn't do a lot of crazy stuff, but he does. He's like Ringo. He fills the song.
I like those drummers.
Yeah, but he does do some cool stuff. His double bass is really good though.
It's like the guy from Judas Priest. I don't even know his name. Yeah. I know KK Downing, and I know Rob Halford. Don't know the drummer's name to Judas Priest, though.
I don't either, man.
Iron Maiden. What's the drummer's name? Those are solid guys.
Nico McBrain.
He's pretty.
That's one of them. And there's another one too. I like. He's got a crazy kit. Like Tom's like. And
I love the cymbals that are like this, like literally horizontal.
Yeah. That's
cool.
Funny. But anyway, yeah. So me and Spencer met at a jam. Long story short, we got together. We said, you know what? Like, I can play bass. He had a drummer friend. Like, I can play bass here. Let's do that. And we were city council for a few months, I guess maybe. Go to jams. Yeah, we call ourselves. We call our stage presence the city council meeting.
That's pretty good.
And then we're like, we got original songs. We should probably release some music soon. Hey, let's check to make sure this name isn't taken. We go on Spotify, and sure enough, there's like a band of like 34,000 listeners. City council check mark. We're like, okay, scratch that name. He's like, well, I got this name, Mysterious Teriyaki. We're like, dude, that's a great name. He's like, is it? We're like, yeah. And so we go to shows.
He was embarrassed to say it.
Yeah, and the first couple of shows, we're like, we are Mysterious Teriyaki. People are like, what?
It's like
Mysterious Teriyaki.
Is that your band name? What's happening?
Yeah, right. And I was like, we smell funny.
Yeah.
But people were like, we kept saying, it's a good name. It's a good name. I thought it was a good name too. But we had like one woman who's like, you guys are great. You should change your name. And I'm like, get out of here.
I know. I hate that.
So that I love that name. It's a great name. It stands out. It's unique, right? So
what is the number of fans or listeners or whatever? Let's call it. I don't know. I only know YouTube. I don't know Spotify numbers. But what's the number of followers before you have to change your name, because there's already another band with that name? Like if they have 100 followers, fuck it, we can beat that, right?
That's a good question. I think, well, I don't know how often. I guess like if there's a point where maybe you're like competing, like if you both have a sizable following. The only thing I can think of, I know there's a band called Bad Optics here in Seattle, and there was another band, I forget the name of the band, but they retooled, and like the guy from Rancid or something they started a band also called Bad Optics with an X. Bad Optics.
Oh shit!
Real cool, right?
Yeah.
And Bad Optics in Seattle has a pretty sizable following, and so they're like, yo, like they announced, here's our new band name, and people were like, yo, there's a band in Seattle with that name already, and they're pretty big. Like, what are you doing? And and these people already have like industry pull because they're a guy from Rancid and the guy from another band.
Oh shit!
Eventually, they actually caved and changed their name to something else, which is pretty fucking awesome in my opinion. Because Bad Optics was already like in Seattle for like the last 5 years, kind of doing their thing, and they were completely organic, and they got this following. And I was like, well, now if you go search our name, you're gonna find these guys. That's bullshit, right?
Right.
So it does happen, I guess. I guess it depends on how much of an effort you're willing to put into if somebody else pops on the scene.
You have to outdo
with your name.
You
gotta
outdo
them. Yeah, out social media. Yeah,
out gig them. We had our band Junk Science, which I guess is still a band, because it never was a. We made 1 or 2 gigs, but we just like to write music and just record and make videos and do internet, social media stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the gigs were just so much work, and it was like
it can be. Yeah.
It was. We didn't have the groove at the time. Like we didn't have the right system or whatever. Like everybody's working late hours, running on fumes at the gig. It was just not working. But my point is, we had Junk Science, and there was a hip hop group. We were like alt metal.
Yeah.
They were like hip hop named Junk Science, and people were kind of messaging us, hey, there's a band named Junk Science. You should probably change it. And I was just like, and they had a good amount, thousands of whatever. Let's just say thousands of whatevers.
Yeah, we can beat them.
Yeah, I was like, we can do it. I don't think we ever did, though. But they were from the 90s, and I thought their account was dead. And then I saw that on Spotify, our music kept getting confused with their music. So that does suck logistically. But I didn't see a need to change it because we're metal and they're hip hop. So
yeah, and I think if there's enough of a like this example I use of Bad Optics, they're both kind of like punk rock.
Right. So you can't.
Yeah, but if there's like I've even heard of I can't think of an example right now, but I know. I've heard of multiple band names, like, but they're different genres, so it's like okay, because like the listener overlap is probably going to be very small.
Exactly, that's kind of my thought process.
Yeah.
Also, you guys can have it. You guys can be junk science for real. I give up. No, I just want to. I like having a band where the name sounds like the music.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Junk Science name fits more of this hip hop because they talk political and shit.
Yeah.
And we just write heavy riffs.
You guys you could be like Skunk Science.
Oh, Skunk is heavier.
Because skunky.
Yeah.
That's a real skunky riff you got.
Skunk House, Skunk Town, Skunk. Yeah. Skunk
that right
is
there, a real skunker riff. I say.
The Skunk Boys.
I say a skunker riff.
Down South Skunk Boys.
Down South Skunk.
What's that band? The Alabama All Stars or something. The new Southern Alabama, you know?
Oh, I don't even know.
They have a washboard.
Oh, yeah? Is that what it is? It's like a jug band type thing?
Yeah, they had
That's
a
cool.
lot of players.
That's actually cool, man.
They had a
I like
sweet
that
name.
stuff.
The New American All Stars or some shit.
Yeah. I don't even know, man. It's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah. What about, do you know Brittany Henderson? Is that her name?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, we'll skip it then.
Well, so I was going to say, Mysterious Teriyaki is kind of based in Everett. So I've been hanging out in Everett a lot lately. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on up there. It's like complete opposite direction of where we are now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, like, well, this place is from Everett. Lucky Dime.
The Lucky Dime. I used to play I can't remember the name now, which is on brand for me, this podcast. But it's a Old Town Cafe or some shit up in Everett. And I like the place. Yeah, I love it.
Like Tony
It's just
V's
too far
or
of a
something,
drive.
maybe.
No, it was like cafe. It was like
yeah.
a nice little lounge for older people.
That's cool. Yeah, this thing about Everett, there's not many, like, there's like 3 or 4 like proper music venues. There's
Really?
Tony V's, there's Lucky Dime, and then there's like Black Lab. And I think
That's where Tony V's is
yeah, it's like right on that strip up there. It's actually kind of cool because it's like, and you're all right, or like within the same like 2 blocks you could bounce.
Is he a guy? Tony V, a person?
Tony, he actually is. I met Tony himself.
It's like that could be just a venue name.
I don't know his last name, but I know his name. His name's actually Tony, and he hangs around. You know,
It's like Louis G's. Remember Louis G?
G.
That was Fife, I think. Louis G's.
No, I've never been there, man.
No, he was like a big guy in the area. I've been there like a few times. It's more of a kid. It was like a School of Rock kind of situation, which I always think is dope.
That's like where I grew up. There was a Italian place called Ruffalo's, and it was Mark Ruffalo's family's place.
Nice. That sounds
Mark Ruffalo.
familiar. Yeah, what's he in?
He's I don't even know. I know he's an actor, but I don't watch movies.
Definitely know his name. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch movies.
Yeah,
I listen to music.
For sure. I'm more of a music.
More of a soundtrack guy.
What's your favorite movie? I like songs, actually.
I like the soundtrack to Twister.
Oh yeah, Van Halen.
Yeah. But yeah.
Humans being shine on.
Dude, if Spencer were here, he'd be like creaming his pants.
I
right now.
love Sammy Hagar. Dude.
Yeah.
I'm a huge. I like Dev. I'm a 50-50 on which one's better. But
I think I saw Sammy Hagar in Europe. This is kind of a stupid story. I was in Switzerland of all places. Actually, no, we were in France, which is like it makes it sound like I'm a fucking ritzy.
You're all over the place. I can't even remember where he's at.
This was for a wedding. My brother got married, and it was in Europe. It was like a one-time thing. It was fucking cool.
Hopefully.
But we went to But we were in Chamonix, which is like a mountain town, and it was summertime, so it was like hot, which is weird because we're like in the Alps, like the Swiss Alps, or French Alps actually. And we're walking, and we see this dude with like frosted tips, long hair, kind of pudgy dude, and there's a kind of like this like looked like a rented house, kind of tucked away. And there's a Porsche, and then he's coming out, and him and like this girl, they're on bikes. Me and my mom we're walking with my mom, and we're kind of like, is that Sammy Hagar? Looks like Sammy. And we kind of pass him, and then he's on the phone, and I think he like heard us say that because he kind of looked at us.
Yeah,
and we're like, I swear to God, I think it was Sammy Hagar. It looked just like him. It was like who would this guy if he had a Porsche?
He's like, I haven't been recognized in a while.
Right, and he's probably like, I'm here because no one knows who I am here, and here's fucking people.
That is an interesting place for him to be.
Yeah, right. I don't know why. I guess
it's off-brand.
Yeah, him and his wife or mistress or whoever it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Well, Jimmy Buffett died, and now everything's weird.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
His non-metal counterpart. Two dudes who like to drink.
Yeah,
my dad met Sammy Hagar one time on a plane. Him and his buddy, which is also my friend Steven's dad, which is why I know Steven for so long.
World.
Right. So our two dads were going to Mexico to party. They're probably my age now, 30s. And they were on a plane, and in first class they saw Sammy Hagar, and there was a way something happened to where they got bumped up, or they got to sit next to him. I don't remember the specifics, but all I know is they were drinking, and they're like, "Dude, what's up, man? You're so cool. You're Sammy, blah, blah," did the whole thing, and then the gig was the next day. They were flying to Mexico to see him perform.
Yeah,
so it makes sense that you'd see him. So
like, wait a minute,
nothing too crazy. So yeah, they meet him or whatever. He's super chill, kind of dismissive because they're hammered. They get to the gig, and they're in the back in the beer garden drinking. And the way my dad tells the story is so funny. He goes, and then Sammy goes, "Yeah, I saw these guys on the plane, met these guys out of Seattle the other day. They're not here. They were so fucked up. They said they were coming. There's no way they're here." And they're like, "We're here! We're here!" And he couldn't hear him or see him.
Damn, that's funny because he's up on the big stage, right? And your dad's like a little freaking.
And then
ant.
of course the people next to him like, sure,
yeah,
sure, you're the guys that
Sammy
met him.
Hagar. I don't think so.
It's kind of my dad's claim to fame. Sammy Hagar story.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I saw Sammy Hagar once.
Yeah, I annoyed him on a plane once.
Yeah, you're right. That's his pickup line. He goes to a bar. He's like, hey, I annoyed Sammy Hagar.
Do you guys
once
like 80s metal?
do you guys like 80s
Do you guys
metal,
like
right?
Twister soundtrack?
you guys like tornado music?
Yeah. You know the guy, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I never did the song, so
Ooh.
it's almost OCD now. Let's start the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BandHouse Podcast. This is Wes. Wes, what's your last name again?
Wes Hampson.
This is Wes doesn't spin his sticks. Hampton? Samson.
Like Samson with an H, yeah.
Oh, Samsonite.
Samson. Yeah. I'm the suitcase.
Yeah.
The heir of the suitcase dynasty.
Wes Sampson.
Hampson. Wes Hampson. Yeah.
Oh,
I know it could be Wes. Actually,
I heard Wes Hampson. That's why I made the Samson.
I've used that name as like a joke name. People are like, what's your name? And I'm like, who the fuck's this guy? Wes Sampson.
That's so good. That does sound made up. So Hampson is the correct.
Hampson.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out, man.
Totally, man. Thanks
I usually go like 45 minutes. So let's say let me do the rapid fire questions here at the end, where I just try to think of something. Dark beer, light beer.
Dark beer.
Great. That's the easy one. Elton John or Billy Joel?
Elton John.
Ooh, good answer. Walmart or Target?
Target, I guess.
Correct, dude. That's where the honeys shop. My girlfriend shops at Target, and now I shop at Target. I'm like, why are there only super attractive moms here at all times?
I grew up in a town, and there was a Walmart there, and it wasn't always there. Then it was there, and it quickly became like the place to not go.
The place to not be, dude.
It just was like, it was always just like just rowdy, and shit was always getting stolen. I was like, I'm not gonna go there.
Gibson Fender.
Fender.
Right on. Oh, jazz bass or P bass?
I'll say jazz bass. Funny
Smart.
thing about that,
Yeah.
I have a jazz bass with 2 P pickups on it, so I could be in the middle on that one.
You have the ultimate jazz, or the ultimate bass.
It has a.
And it probably sounds great.
It's got an awesome aggressive tone, and it fits my style very well.
It fits your mysterious, I almost said mysterious jerky, which is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Mysterious teriyaki. My bad.
That's it.
My bad. Burger King, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Okay, this is a good one. Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder?
Oh, Stevie Wonder, man. Stevie Wonder.
Hell yeah. What about blues guitar players? Let's go BB King or Buddy Guy.
That's a hard question because I don't listen to either of them.
Oh, okay.
And Vaughn's gonna kill me for this.
Yeah.
I'll say BB King.
Yeah, that's good. There's no wrong answers there. A baseball, football.
Football.
I wonder if the Seahawks won.
Don't know. I
think it's happening right now.
I don't follow sports, so it's a toss-up for me.
It's a toss-up. It's a coin flip.
Yep.
Let's look it up.
Although I will say I do like hockey. If there's any sport I would watch, it'd be hockey.
I think it's playing right now, our hockey team.
Oh, yeah? The Kraken?
The Kraken, yeah. I don't watch them. My stepdad's always been big into hockey, so he was stoked.
I need to go to a Kraken game.
Then I know the Mariners just lost.
Yeah, me and Spencer were watching the game, and it was very sad to see them lose.
It's cool. I was
6-1.
following them for a while, and then that last game was.
That's what happened last year or the year before, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
It's like we're having like deja vu here.
We get just right up to that line of the.
Yes, I don't watch sports.
Of
but
the
here I
wild
am.
card. Watching sports, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
I watch it when it's important. When my team's winning is when I watch. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm the
I used to
quintessential.
those are my sports years right there. I got Robinson Cano from 2014 Mariners, and then Jordan Spieth, golfer, when I was super into golf 2015. And I was a big sports guy then, but I was around sports guys, so it makes sense. but now I'm not, so I only follow when we're doing good.
Now you're a guitar guy.
Now I'm a guitar boy. I have so many guitars
Look at all this
now.
crap back here, man.
I have another storage unit filled with even more gear.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I moved
show me
out of
that.
the house. I moved out. My roommate sold the house, made a bunch of money. Can't fault him there.
Of course.
But then it put me on my heels. I'm like, what do I do? And then I'm just like, let's just do
Now you're living in a storage unit?
Now I'm just moving around. Yeah, I'm totally, as Steven said, you're living here? I'm like, no, but I work late.
Just hide the bed, put that aside here. Make sure to cover that.
I'm sure I could, but the problem is I emailed the landlord from my BandHouse podcast at gmail.com, so now she can just look up and watch the podcast. Because I was going to lie if she asked what the podcast was. I was going to say, like, you know, something your mom's house podcast or like something Joe Rogan experience.
Shit Kicker podcast.
Yeah, the Taylor Arden experience. But then I botched that when I emailed her from the thing. So.
Oh, man, rip. now she can see what kind of crazy antics you get up in here.
Yep. But I did ask before I did all the stuff, like wall stuff.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, the place I'm renting right now, the guy, we had to really like wring his neck to get him to hang, get him to allow us to hang guitar hangers, and he's like, "Yeah, when you move out, you got to keep them there." I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay.
They're $6 anyway.
Yeah,
a piece.
that's actually I prefer that.
That's
'cause
right.
Now I don't have to do any work.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them out. You know, I gotta patch the holes, sure.
Yeah.
But it's
And
also like he was like really like, yeah, you can't put anything in the walls. Like our place, it's 12 by 12 by 12. It's huge. Well, not huge. It's actually tiny, but the ceilings are really high. So there's all that like wasted space. I'm like, if you could put
Well,
shelving
yeah,
up there.
this is 12. What's this room? 10 by 12.
Yeah, this is.
And then I don't know this. 6,
It's probably
10.
8 maybe 8, 9. You know, standard size.
Well, I can't reach it, so it's a standard size ceiling.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when I stand up, I barely get any taller, dude. I'm mostly torso.
I'm kind of the same.
Oh, you are, dude.
I'm a pipsqueak.
That makes sense why you're looking so good in the cameras, because we're the same height. I was able to, dude. It took me probably over an hour to get that camera just to look straight. It's way harder than you'd think, dude.
Yeah, especially when you're by yourself. I mean, I know from
I
recording.
want all three to be at like a certain angle, you know. And I'm not really a video guy. I love video and I love editing, but I never took the classes or anything. I'm always just learning by making mistakes.
I think that's the best way to learn, though, man. That's the way I learn. I mean, I was actually telling someone about this yesterday. It's like you give me a textbook as I learn something. It's like, but if I have if I can use it for reference, but it's like I need to learn by doing shit. Right? Like, I mean, that's all my music. Like I'm self-taught. Like I've had. My dad plays drums, so he showed me a couple things here and there, but I kind of like actively refuse lessons like an asshole.
Sure.
I was like, get out of here, Dad. I just want to play my punk rock songs. I want to play System of a Down. I want to play my tunes. But he'd be like, hey, son, you should try this. I'm like, okay, I'll try that, I guess.
I'll try it, I guess.
But, you know, really in retrospect, I probably should have done more of that. But I've always found more value in like arriving at, I should know how to do a paradiddle because that will help me play this groove.
Well, yeah, you need I'm 100% the same way. Right. I have to have a reason for learning the thing. I don't want to just learn. Like right now, I'm learning how to improvise jazz, and it's like it took like I've been doing it for like 2 years. And I know like 2 or 3 songs, but I really know the chords super well.
Yeah,
and I know because I've done so much work on each little individual thing, but I know why.
But the flip side of that is if you know how to use the chords, right? And this is like with the drum rudiments. If you know, okay, paradiddle, sure, a double stroke, a rough, whatever, okay.
Yeah.
But like when you're a little kid too, and this is like with school too, it's like if you don't really understand like how to apply that stuff, it seems like it's just nonsense, right? But when you get older and you're like, now I'm jamming with people and like, I can bust out this thing, and it's like, or like if you're playing, if you're jamming and you bust out your jazz chords and you want to fill extra space, you know all the right chords to do.
Like
that
I know
with,
the
right?
ideas and the
the trick is knowing how to string everything together. That's the real hard part.
Right. I think that's the main problem, or that's another main problem with theory is it takes about 12 years before you're gonna use it properly. Like you're gonna learn. It's like anything though. Anything that's really hard to do at the beginning, it's like this isn't gonna. Like you can play the thing and then it's like, but now you have to go do it standing up.
Yeah, right.
Or now you have to go in front of people.
Or now you got to sing and do it.
And now you have to sing and do
right.
it. And it's like it's just in endless levels of.
That's where that discipline word comes into
discipline.
Play. Discipline.
Okay. Another speed. question. Metronome or no metronome?
Oh, no metronome.
Yeah, baby.
But I will say, knowing how to play to a click is really useful.
Yeah.
Because I actually played. I played for a group called Nobody for a while.
Yeah.
And they had all tracks that were programmed. Like they had no keyboard player, but they had these synth tracks that play in the background, and so I had to play along to that. And part of the reason I took the gig was say, you know what, I've played to a click now and then, but not very much. But this would be a good challenge to actually play live to a click and get to experience that with
that's hard, and that's hard too. And all of a sudden that becomes a new thing.
Yeah, and so there was like I was like, you know what, and it wasn't rock. It was like kind of more like modern pop. But like
so the tempo's easier to
but it was like, well, it's just the getting as a genre was not my I'm more of a rock kind of funk drummer, more I don't even know. I'm so bad with genres, man. But it was I call it like more vibey, modern pop, but with like trip hop elements and like sort of psychedelic elements. But it wasn't like 3-chord rock and roll, you know.
Sure, yeah.
So it was a challenge in that regard too. But the click was really fun because it was, and also wearing in-ear monitors. You know, especially depending on how you prefer your sound. Like for me to hear it, I had to wear the ones that like completely block out the outside noise.
Yeah,
the first gig we had, I remember it was like I was playing and I could really only hear like my snare, and it was and the click and like whatever I had fed through my ears, and it was like playing like really high or something because it was like I can't hear how hard I'm hitting my cymbals or how loud I am because all I hear is like a muffled sound of my drum kit.
Yeah,
and it's like this is weird. So then I learned after that, okay, I need to get like an overhead mic and like get that into my headphones.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot doing that. And it was
much to learn.
It was a lot of fun though, man. It was a lot of fun doing that.
Mm-hmm. No, they're just hearing you say that. It's the same with guitar. If I can't hear myself,
it's like hell.
I can't use the finesse. It's like every note I do at 100%.
It's like
loudness.
It's like hell on earth if you can't hear yourself. Yeah. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
Monitoring is key.
Yes, indeed.
That's what we'll
don't be afraid. You know, if you're on stage, don't settle for if you think you're annoying the sound guy. Obviously, you know, don't be the guy who wants your shit real loud. But like, if you can't hear something, like speak up and say, "Hey, dude, I can't need to hear the bass. I can't hear the bass. Can you give more bass, please?" Like, because if you can't hear it and it's impeding your performance, you don't want that, right?
Yeah.
So, but back to click track though. Yeah, I when I record, I prefer not to use a click, and the reason is not because I'm like, because I'm better than the click. It's that I
like Alex Van Halen.
Yeah, I have a pretty. I mean, not to brag. I think I have a pretty good tempo.
When did you start playing drums?
When I was about 13. I'm 28 in about a week.
All right.
So
he's been grinding.
13, and I've thought my dad played, so I heard him play a lot.
That'll do it.
I listened to a lot of music when I like Green Day as a kid.
I asked because if you start before 5, it's almost impossible to not be a virtuoso.
It's crazy, dude. And like I'm an advocate for if you got a kid who has like an interest, like get them in that as young as little as
that's what I'm saying. Like grind them, and if by 7 years old they don't care anymore, then fine. But at least they have it.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe by the time they're 12, they'll be like, this is kind of cool again.
Right,
you know?
right.
But yeah, man. So I was always thinking drums, and then I started to actually try to play them when I was about 13.
Right.
But yeah, but you know, like recording, like I just did a recording with Mysterious Teriyaki. Hopefully before the end of the year we're gonna have an EP out, because we've recorded all DIY. All the tracks we recorded live. So I mean, this is the band I play bass in actually, but we didn't play to a click. And the reason is because we wanted to capture how we sound at practice or live, which you know, and we nailed it. You know,
yeah.
If you played to a click, it just feels like
you have to practice to a click if you're going to record. Yeah,
and the songs don't ebb and flow the way like I like the verse to pull back a bit and the chorus to pull up a little bit. You know, there's all these reasons to not use one. And you can always, you know, if you're programming, you can always emulate that. But I like doing shit.
It's never a. I mean, this argument is as old as time, just like auto-tune or not or whatever. But it's like. It's case by case.
It's case by case,
like
right?
A lot
Sometimes
of rock
auto-tune
songs
sounds good, you know.
Like Man in the Box is one I'm thinking of. Is right here, and the chorus is dun 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 dun. Dun. We're up 10 clicks, right? And then when he does the and you saw them shot dun dun. It goes back down 10 or whatever.
You know, another band I like that is really good at holding back tempo is Stone Temple Pilots. Their drummer Eric Kretz. That guy is so laid back pocket man.
And Bass McGee.
Yeah, fucking what's his name? Robert DeLeo.
There it is. Nice.
Yeah,
DeLeo.
That guy. There's a Rick Beato. Seriously, real, but Rick Beato
interview.
The interview with Robert DeLeo and Rick Beato.
It's so good.
It's so insightful too, because he said that, and this is a phrase.
I want to be friends with that guy. He looks like a good hang.
This is a phrase I've adopted, but I've always felt this way: is a rock musician reaching for jazz. And he mentioned that when he was talking about his bass playing, because he plays all these little like licks that are informed by his knowledge of jazz, but he's self-taught,
right?
You know, and I, as a kid, when I would hear music, and the first time I heard jazz, I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is just chaos, but it's cool. Like, what's even happening? What are the drums doing? He's just kind of spang-a-langing on the cymbal, and this, where's the groove? What is this, right? And as I got older, I sort of began to understand what was going on, and I can really appreciate that.
It's fine listening.
Yeah, but the technicality and finesse required to play jazz is paramount, right? And so to me, like, jazz is like the epitome. It's one of the epitomes of music.
It's like the ultimate musical genre.
Yeah, so if you're
the ultimate American art form,
right? And if you're a musician and you want to be good, I think aiming for jazz is a way to do that.
Yeah, and if you want to learn how to improvise on guitar or piano or any instrument, Barry Harris is a teacher. He just passed away.
Not Harry Barris.
Not Harry Barris. Not Barry Harrison or Samsonite. No, Barry Harris. He unlocked jazz. I mean, I played music for 20 years.
He had the keys.
He had the keys to the old jazz Lamborghini. And I wanted to learn jazz my whole career, not because I like the sound of it, because I'm an elitist and I like things that are hard.
See, you want to be the best. You want to be cool. You want to look down on people and spit on them.
Oh, and I was going to say the metronome is like playing without a metronome is like smoking a cigarette. It's not good for you, but it's cool as fuck.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah, but yeah, I think it definitely if you
shows that you don't give a fuck.
It really helps. So it is good to like record yourself to a click with some time and hear how you sound. Like actually,
right?
Because it'll and also I'm an advocate for record yourself all the time because
absolutely
you might think you sound one way in your head.
Oh, and you don't.
And then you go back listen to the gig, you're like, fuck, I was rushing that whole fucking fill.
I started playing when I was 14. Deep into my 20s, I recorded all the time, wondering why I suck. I'm like, how do I still suck? I thought I was good. And I wake up and I feel good, and then I record myself. And I'm like, still suck? Because it's hard. So you got to record yourself. I was always ahead of the beat.
That feedback loop. Yeah, like, and actually, what's funny thing is, when I play guitar, I'm ahead of the beat too.
I think maybe it's a guitar thing. It's very common for rock music, maybe, which guitar.
I think because you're into it, right? You're like,
yeah. You don't think about rhythm because there's so many other things to think about.
Right.
Luckily, I started playing drums the same year I started playing guitar, but I never had it wasn't my identity, so I didn't really get good. I never put together like 10 years of everyday practice or anything. But I get how important rhythm is, and I know that even a guitar player needs to be in...
Well, groove is king in my book, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can have all the chops in the world, but if you don't got groove...
AC/DC,
it don't matter.
even for rock music, dude, AC/DC.
AC/DC, man.
Groove-based.
It's all boom chop, although I would hate to be Phil Rudd. Well, actually, I still hate to be Phil Rudd.
I wonder what he thinks about. I wonder how deeply he thinks about the beat.
Is he just back there?
Or if he's off in space.
Yeah, he's off in space. Well, I know he's on some thing. My friend told me how he called a hit on somebody, and how he can't re-enter the country because he's like a felon or something. Like, look this up. It's kind of nuts. Like his story. Like he's not playing with AC/DC right now because of some kind of crazy shit that's going on with him like legally because he got into hot water with like a hitman or something. It's fucking weird. So yeah, maybe he's thinking about that. He's thinking, I'm gonna kill that bitch. When I'm done with this gig, man, I'm fucking,
Yeah, can't believe she thinks I'm just,
But I don't know if it's his wife. I don't know who it was. But yeah, no, but that's, dude, like, I wouldn't want to be Phil Rudd though because I'd be so fucking bored.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool. Probably be cool. The after party would probably be pretty fun. But like, you know, I don't live for the after party. I live for the music, man. So it's like, I want to have a chance to be able to like kind of
move a little bit.
My wings, open up. A little bit.
Yeah, AC/DC is orchestrated to a. The other word. It's crafted. It's like the same. Everything's. It's like Linkin Park live.
Yeah.
Holy shit! It's exactly the same, which is amazing, and everybody loves that. But my buddy / roommate, the guy who just sold the house, he was saying how Linkin Park live. You ever heard him? It's just boring. It doesn't. I'm like,
just like the record.
I'm like, whoa.
That's
why
I like Frank Zappa so much, dude. Because everything he did live was like not like his record. So you can hear the live shit, and it's like, oh, he just went from this song into that other song, and they don't have any relation, but he did it. He made it work, and it's freaking cool.
I know, and that's what any good fan of a band wants to hear. Like when I go see Metallica, I know it's not going to be 100% like in time and in tune or whatever, mainly now because they're old,
right?
But also because Lars is never that in time or whatever.
Lars has like gotten worse over the years. I don't know how you get worse as you
he goes like this. He's like the stock market. It's up and down, but it's mostly up except for his reverse. His is reverse. It's up and down, but his is mostly down.
He claps on 1 and 3.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Undoubtedly he claps on 1 and 3. Although he has to have something, right? He has to have like a special songwriter brain.
Man, yeah, I don't know.
Because he's been in the band and James has kept him around.
So I think because he's kind of the reason the band exists.
Yeah, it's his band.
It's his band, so he can't kick him out of his own band.
He's so gung-ho about it that it makes it...
But honestly, like the early stuff, like Kill 'Em All and like Black Album and all that stuff, like his drumming's actually not bad.
Master of Puppets, he does some shit.
Yeah, and like the groove is weird.
Like Battery?
Yeah.
Battery's sick.
There's just some weird like really inventive playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not very like the new stuff I hear, and you'll see the videos like the Lars cringe compilations, whatever.
So funny.
It's like, dude, like how are you that like? How do you not get it? It's weird. It's just weird to me. It's like, I don't know.
Well, it's blind spots.
Yeah.
Some musicians are so good. Like I knew a guy that was a lead master, but it had to be like a certain kind of music where he could, how like Yngwie plays so fast, it's like 17th notes instead of like he puts 17 notes in a bar because it's so fast.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's like this guy was so fast and so good, but there was no rhythm. Like it didn't have a.
So I say groove is king, man.
Yeah, groove is
gotta have the groove.
King.
If you don't got the groove,
that's the only thing that gets people to dance. That's the only thing that makes people think you're a musician.
Yeah, and if people are dancing, you're doing a good job. Especially as a drummer, if you're looking up and you're saying, people are moving,
you're winning.
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So groove is king. That's the moral of the story. This gave me an idea. I want to do an album, like at the end of every podcast, do 5-10 minutes on an album.
Cool.
Like we could do Master of Puppets, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Talk about an album, and then like each guest, I could look in to see what kind of music they're into.
Ooh, I gotta think of one. So Metallica. I'm actually not that big of a listener of Metallica. I know them a little bit mostly from radio. Actually, I had one friend growing up who was a massive Metallica fan. His name's Dylan. He's actually the guy. Actually, we did music together. You can find this on Spotify. Look up the S10s, like the Chevy truck.
Tight.
We made music. This is my friend Dylan. We'd jam in my basement, like in high school and college, and I would just like try to record because I was like interested in recording too. And eventually, like I had a couple of recordings. We had a day where we did like 3 songs or something, and then but our songs were just jams. We come to get together and just like play and like record.
Yeah,
that's a song,
yeah.
you know. But we never like name it. Like one of them's called New Jam because at the time it was a new jam.
It sounds like
and the name
my
just
friend
stuck.
Dylan from high school that I make songs with.
Yeah.
Thingamajig #1.
Right. So
songy doo-dah.
So we have an album called the S10s on Spotify, which I recommend checking out. It's just kind of it's me drumming about 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago at this point, and him playing guitar. But the reason I bring him up is because his email address. When we first made email addresses in like middle school.
Yeah, dude, first email.
His email address was Metallica and sometimes y@yahoo.com. I dare you to email that address.
That's so funny.
Send spam to that address.
That's my kind of joke right there.
But so he was a big Metallica fan, and I was like, I was really into. I was like very like I still like this. I get like very hyper focused on bands.
Yeah.
Currently, well, for a while I wouldn't. It not so much anymore, but it was the band Helmet.
Yeah.
I'm really into the band Helmet. The drummer John Stanier is like top in my book.
But if I would have thought of this a week ago, I texted you about it. You could have told me. I could have listened to it. We could have talked about it.
Yeah, hey,
that's
there
a
you go.
great idea
Yeah,
for the
so
future.
that is, yeah.
Future me.
Hey,
Implement this segment.
Yes, indeed.
Album review with. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
but yeah, so like then when I was a little kid, System of a Down was the band I was really into.
Oh,
And
we
then-
would do System of a Down
Yeah,
then,
man,
because that was my first album, Toxicity.
Dude,
literally my first CD in my CD Walkman.
Mine actually, to bring it back, was Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory.
Yeah. That was like right after. I'm sure.
I have a story about that album. My mother, I think my parents bought me that album when I was like 5. I don't know what compelled them to buy me Hybrid Theory, but
Shut up when I'm talking to you.
so imagine little me in front of the stereo playing that song, blasting it, and just like bobbing my head to it, like 5.
Shut up when I'm talking to you.
Yeah, man, shut up, fuck you, you know. But
tight.
so in kindergarten, at the end of the year, and they did this all the way to 8th grade. They'd index the last 26 days of the year with letters. So A was like Apple Day, you get an apple.
Oh yeah.
M Day was Music Day, bring in music. So I thought, oh, Music Day, okay, I'll bring in the CD I'm into, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
And I'll just say the teacher didn't play it. And I knew something was off when I started hearing the songs and I was hearing like Wheels on the Bus, and I'm like, oh, she meant that kind of music.
She meant right, and you're like, that's the same genre. Music.
I was like, oh, I thought she meant like real music, not like kid music. You know, I'm like a little 6-year-old.
So you grew up quick.
But
I was in 6th grade, which is 12, before I was like cool.
I don't
know what I mean?
I don't think I was cool till. I still don't think I'm cool.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wasn't cool until next year.
I wasn't cool until I came on this podcast.
Yeah.
This podcast will really make me cool.
Friday when it posts, that's when
Hey,
you're
there
cool.
we go. That's when I'm going to watch my follower count because that's all I care about.
Hell yeah.
Rise
Skyrocket
up to the top, and I'm going to be like, yeah.
by 22 people or so.
Finally made
Guys,
it.
go follow him right now so we can
Actually,
find
I think I'm close to
This
it makes it sound really fucking narcissistic. I
Let's
think I'm
hear
really
it.
close to 1,000 followers, guys. Somebody follow me.
Will you guys give him the comma already?
Give me the comma, please. I need,
on what?
I crave
on
Instagram.
Instagram, yeah, that's the one.
I used TikTok for about 6 months, and I had to delete it because it was just too
Same.
toxic.
I did that with that IG and TikTok, and it feels like I'm out of the loop.
Yeah,
'Cause
Instagram.
IG is so big.
Really, the only reason I have Instagram is because of the music connection scene. Like I'm plugged into the whole Seattle Everett scene because of Instagram, because I can find. It's such a good platform for sharing, for just seeing bands play and for sharing flyers and shows and like secret shows. Like, hey, there's a show tomorrow. DM for the address.
I need to figure that out then. Yeah.
It's the hard part though is managing I'll find myself at work and I'm just like scrolling and I'm like, oh shit,
That's why I
this is not good. Or I'll be like before bed.
It's so hard for creators to not fall into the loop of being a viewer.
You have to learn how to use the internet, not let the internet use you.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the challenge for like the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How to not let the algorithm use you, right?
Yeah.
But you have to use the algorithm for your advantage, and that's how these fucking people go viral, basically. Well, that's one way. The other way is just to be at the right place at the right time and get a video of a cat doing something stupid, and there you go.
There it is.
But
well, you said you were plugged into the Everett scene. Speaking of plug, why don't you go ahead and plug all your different bands?
Oh yeah, okay. So
I'll put the links. If you send me them, I'll put the links.
Totally. So I'm in a band called Mysterious Teriyaki, which I play bass in. That we don't have any music yet, but we do have an Instagram. We're playing a show actually at the Sunset on the 25th in Seattle here with PR for Monsters. That's my friend's band.
Great name.
Yeah, it's a good name. I'm playing. Let's see. I drum in a band called Fat Saturn. We have a show on the 28th actually at Showboat up in Ballard. It's like a brewery. It's gonna be a Halloween show. Come dressed up. Come funky.
Tight.
Let's see. I play drums in a band called Bad Honey. We actually have a show this Friday, the day this podcast drops, allegedly. It's actually at UW Lambda Chi. It's like a frat, so it's gonna be like a house show.
Tight.
Should be kind of cool.
If you guys are watching from UW right now, figure it out.
Yeah.
Dude.
But
both my brothers went there, so
oh, cool. I went to school in Illinois, so I don't know any. UW out there was University of Wisconsin.
Oh yes, you know about UW.
Yeah,
we
UW.
all know
right,
about it.
There's always a UW somewhere, right?
Tight.
But and then after that, I think we're playing. I think our next show isn't until in November with Bad Honey, and it's I forget where. I'll send you the info. But Bad Honey plays about once a month.
Tight.
And then let's see. I'm also in that band Presence, the band I played Moby Dick on. We don't have any shows scheduled yet, but we play like twice a year, so we'll
that makes sense.
We'll be around. I'm also filling in for this crazy guitar player named Caspian Coberly. He's like a 23-year-old prodigy. This dude plays guitar like I don't even know. He just like blows everybody out of the water. When I first saw him, he was playing with Matt Cameron of all people.
Wow.
At the Royal Room, he was Matt Cameron was
Pearl
playing
Jam,
Matt
Temple of Dog.
Right. He's a drummer, but he was playing guitar. He was actually playing a set of like the band called the Wipers, which is a really awesome like kind of early punk rock band from Portland. So he was doing like a tribute to them, and Caspian was there doing the side stuff, and I think he played a few of his originals. But Caspian had a set to open for Matt Cameron's thing, and it was blew my mind. This guy plays like this like really soulful. And but really like 70s rock, like Jeff Beck and like Robin Trower, like that real guitar, like deep cut kind of guitar playing stuff. So I'm filling in on drums with him. Caspian, the cool name, Caspian Coberly.
Yeah, I'm gonna check all these out.
But he's playing at Barboza on the 15th, so that's like I think 2 weeks from. Well, I shouldn't give relative dates if it's a podcast.
Right,
but
right.
It's October 15th at Barboza.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's my upcoming gigs.
Great.
Yeah, man.
Busy boy.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, I think.
I figured as much. I had no idea I knew you were in 2 bands, 3, 4. Sounds like 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's earlier in the year. It was like if I were to name all the bands with names, it's probably like 7. But a lot of them I didn't consider like. Because we play like once or twice or go to a jam, right? Or we were a band and then one person kind of fell out, and so now we're just kind of like getting together to jam.
You have a day job too?
I do, yeah.
You have a spouse or a girlfriend?
No, so that's kind of how I'm able to make this work.
I was going to say,
I am totally single.
There has to be a lack of something, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've a lot lately. It's been I go to work and then I leave work and I go out to go to a gig or a jam, and then I have like one day a week to chill. And so now because summer's kind of winding down, I'm like I'm going back into hermit mode. Yeah, I actually have my own tunes.
Oh, hermit mode! Can't wait.
I love hermit mode. I have my own tunes I want to finish. I've been writing songs since kind of COVID actually, but I've just because of COVID and it being so like I've moved here before COVID and then COVID happened. I'm like, oh my god, I need to play music.
Sucks.
And I was kind of had some tunes going, but I really wanted just to play in bands, so I've been doing that.
You've checked.
Yeah,
figured that out.
It's kind of crazy.
Amazing.
It just kind of happened, man. But now I'm at that point where like okay, like I'm trying to find the bands I really want to play in and kind of make my long term things, and also find time to do my own tunes because I just have I like to. I have things in my head that I want to hear in real life.
A true creative type, dude.
So I'm just finding time to do that. That's kind of what I'm hoping to do in these winter months.
Great.
And release it under my own name, Wes Hampson, on Spotify. At least that's the idea.
Well, guys, check out Wes Hampson. Make sure you give him the love, give him the followers so he can keep creating art. And thanks for coming out. I really appreciate the drive, mainly that, but also you for being here and
Thank you, Taylor,
for being a good hang.
It's great. It's a good podcast. Good hang, good fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, so hopefully we'll do it again, and we'll have Steven here, or maybe not. Steven update. He still has 2 kids, and they're beating his ass. So we give him a break.
See, I know if I had kids, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think
he's in 0 bands.
I think I do want kids eventually, but right now I'm like, I got to get all this energy and
how old are you?
Me out. I'm 28 in about a week.
Oh, good. You'll have time.
So yeah.
I'm 34, which doesn't feel like I have as much time.
I would not have thought you were 34. I would have thought you were like 27.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, I need some kids though. I feel it in my 30s. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to just be like, impart wisdom, dude.
Yeah.
So much wisdom I'm going to impart.
If you get your kid into guitar when he's like 2, dude, he's gonna become a wizard.
He'll know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got all the wisdom in your head.
Yeah. I'm gonna get him perfect pitch and everything.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, just put him to sleep. Listen to like classical music.
Tight.
Play tones for him. Just play like
microtonal classical music.
Oh.
Yeah.